Oh, hey. Good morning and welcome to the Daily Atheist Morning Show. I am your host, the amazing Super Chris. Thank you for joining me today. It's me every time. Hi guys, how are you doing? Today, I have an interesting topic I think we're going to talk about mostly. I've got a couple things I want to do. One is I want to talk about the topic of faith and whether it's harmful or helpful. I have a poll question going, as you probably guessed. And also, I've got another video I'm going to drop, hopefully today, if I can get off my ass and get her done. The Evil God Monster of Abraham, episode 14. I'm going to work on dropping that today, later on this afternoon. Now, in preparation for that, I would like to go over with you today. We're going to, review episode 12 and 13 in preparation for that. It sounds boring, but it's not, because 12 is like my favorite episode in the whole. Oh, it's just wonderful. I mean, if you want to know about Abram and all that business and some kind of craziness he went through, give it a minute. We'll be back and you're going to enjoy this.
Hello all, Chris Mallard here, atheist extraordinaire, host of the Daily Atheist Morning Show, and currently burning in hell. Oh, don't worry about me. I'm not dead. I'm just down here for the annual Christmas party. Annual Solstice Awards party. The Dark One, or Lucy as he is affectionately known, is personally handing out the awards. Aaron Ra is getting the award for the most souls brought down by evolution for his African fossil hunt, and Matt Dillahunty has won the Golden Phallus Award for being a dick to the most Christians. Oh wait. It's the Golden Fallacy Award for the confusing the most Christians. Easy mistake to make. To top it off, Seth Andrews has lent his voice to the Gregorian chants this year. It's delightfully hellish. Gotta run. I hope you all had a happy Thanksgiving, if you're into that sort of thing, and I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. A happy holidays, happy solstice, and a happy new year. Stay safe, heathens. Party hard, fornicate, that sort of thing. But do it safely.
All right. So good morning, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. I want to shout out to all my peeps in the chat this morning. Let's see. The Daily Atheist, that's me. Good morning, Sandy, Skunk and Junk. And of course, Dane. Good morning, Dane. I didn't get to see your episode last night, or your conversation at Atheist Experience with Kelly, but I'll go check it out if I can after the show. Sandy, coming in hot this morning and haven't even had my coffee. I know they're all talking about Billy Carson, I think his name is. We'll get into that. Maybe. Well, just depends. Okay, who's Billy Carson? Yeah, that's a good question. Untethered, that was from Look at the Trees. Good morning, Look at the Trees. Skunks and Junk, thank you for joining us. Says... I can feel the flames of hell's fantasy fanning my ass already. Yeah, me too. I have a hot ass as well, if that's what you're saying. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Untethered Vet, thank you. Appreciate our vets. You guys are wonderful. Thank you. Nice to have you. Look at the Trees. Philip Lister. Good morning. Look at the Trees. Philip Lister. Thank you for joining us. Philip, I've got like a Facebook or tab with I think about 8 or 10 of those groups that I'm trying to shill them out to. I'm trying to save you the labor. The more that you add me to, I'll try to do it for you. I'm just not terribly organized on the Facebook, but I'm trying. Thank you all for joining us. Larry Scar, Sang-Ji, man, all you wonderful Derek Cruz. Hi, Derek, man. Many moons. How you doing? Derek was one of the regulars back in the Daily Atheist Morning Show back in the day. Good morning, Derek. Thank you for joining us again. Let's see here. It's a little different. I don't have guests. It's just me. I rattle for a little while. We talk about polls and, every now and then I talk about touching myself because, that's what I do. Anyway, so good morning, everyone. I thank you. I thank you. So, as I mentioned, today I want to talk about faith. If you guys have some opinions, let me talk about the poll real quick that we've got going. Let me pop over here and let's look at this. Here's our poll. Let me refresh it and see where we're at. It's just kind of taken off pretty quick this morning. Billy defies the broken theology of Abraham. Oh, okay, I got you. Again, I don't really know anything about Billy. I'll have to go look it up and see who and what he is, what's he's about and all that. So the question of the day is, what is the most problematic aspect of faith as a concept? Let me make sure I didn't check my volume yet. Let me make sure my volume's up. Boop, boop, boop. Okay. your choice, not listed, leave a comment. So what is the most problematic aspect of faith is a comment. I remember, as a concept, remember, we're only limited to like 4 options. I think this one here could have been better. I could have done better with that. Oh, it sucked. But number 4, it discourages questioning and thinking critically. Critical thinking. Okay. And, obviously that was leading with 58%. It's used to justify harmful actions. Okay. And that's a pretty good one. I have a couple of videos. I wouldn't be afraid of showing you those videos about the quickie. They're called the Quickie with the Skeptic episodes from many, many moons ago. And in those episodes, I talk about how, actually 2 or 3 of those videos are about how parents unalive their own children using faith. It's not a random thing. It happens more often than we like to admit. Especially than they would like to admit. So I'm just saying. Good morning, Sunfire. Thank you for joining us. Tomorrow, if tomorrow never comes. I haven't heard that so long. I can't sing it. Sorry. 1,000 apologies for what I just did to that song. Poles, dancing. Sandy. Skunk and Junk. I'll be here forever, my friend. Awesome sauce. You had me at pole dance. Awesome. Dane. Larry Scar. What's the most round part of a circle? That's a great question. Thank you, Philip. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. You're my hero. I appreciate you. Well, let's see what kind of damage we can do. I noticed before we even got started, we had like 15 people waiting. I was like, uh-oh, no pressure, Chris. Get on there. So I'm going to post this link, my friends, as I do every day. And you can, if you will, open in another tab. If you hit your center mouse button on the link, it should open in another tab if you have that sort of thing. And go ahead and vote. Let us know. People have left comments. Let me go over a comment or 2 on this one, if you don't mind. One of them was, let me get here. Get out of here. All of the above. I get a lot of that with my polls. Look at the trees. There are 0 claims that cannot be taken on faith. Dane he's got voice. He's got thoughts in there. I mentioned about that. One of them specifically, though, said it was a silly question. Not all faiths are the same. Here's my response. Not all faiths are the same. True. But that's not what the question is about. You're using faiths in exchange of the word religions. In all those faiths, people use faith, a belief in something that isn't real or provable. If it were provable, they wouldn't need faith. Faith as a concept, not as in religion. So that was my, yes, faith. That's, but there, see, Philip Lister says faith without evidence is meaningless. But not in their defense necessarily, but if they had evidence, it wouldn't be faith, right? And if they're supposed to believe on faith, then they can't have evidence. They have to believe without evidence. That's the whole, is that some circular thinking? I know. It's not my circular thinking, my friends. I'm just so that was my response. And then he went on about himself. I have no idea. Your question implies religious faith. I think in a way this individual is almost certainly right, because I didn't even like this last question, or this one part of the last question where I asked because of the thing here. Let me show you. I didn't like the question, or the response. This one here, it creates division among people of different beliefs. It's kind of like I actually contradicted myself. I get that. I'm a bad Chris. I should be tasered until I'm lying in a pool of my own urine. I'll wait till after the show. It's more of a kink than a punishment. They're like, what just happened? There we go. So that's the poll. If you don't mind, get over there, my friends, and do the thing at the place. Let me know your feelers. Obviously, Dane has already been there, done that. Now, if you don't mind, I would like to, because I have to say, since we're talking about faith, rather than going over these videos, I think it would almost be more apropos, as it were, to go over, because I think faith is harmful, especially whenever you depend on other people to give you, I don't know. There's just examples of people you would think being sensible people following unsensible people, and hurting their own family, their own friends, their own children, that sort of thing. Yes, Nomad says George Michael told us to have faith, but at least he's real. I really enjoyed that song. I don't remember it well enough to know what it was about, what kind of faith he was talking about. My wife was powerfully surprised when she found out he was homosexual. She did not know. And it was whenever we got together. She's in her 40s, at least. And she's like, oh, wow, really? I don't believe you. I was like, oh, yeah. But that's cool. I mean, I dig it. It's his bag, whatever he's into. That's cool. All right, so give me just a moment, my friend, since we're talking about faith. And I was kind of expecting by some point in this thing here, we'd have a theist in the chat to give us their view on faith. Faith without a reason to think something is real seems self-defeating, says Philip Lister. Philip, that's a great point. One of the things is that they're conned. Obviously we know it's a con. They're conned to believe these things on faith because the people putting out the con don't have evidence. Am I right? That's the whole deal. That's how they sell it to these people. And usually we've talked on this show how these people often are, thank you, Andrew McGee. Thank you for subscribing. Very much appreciate that. Welcome to the damnation. Oftentimes those people are, the people that they target are down, they're low, they're in need of help, they're in need of support. And these religions swoop in and go, oh, we're going to help you, or we're going to give you the support or whatever. And it's just like victim seeking. They look for those people who are down and weak and try to bring them into their faith. And they use that gift of help as a sign that their God is shining, that their God is real, and it's shining the light on the person. And then that person falls into their faith, like a fly into a spider web, And then, of course, what do they get? They get a willing person who's going to come and tithe at the least, be there at the least, tithe, possibly come be a volunteer. All they have to do is convince them that their God is real, and they'll do all this stuff, It's amazing. Stream Elements is out there shouting out. Thank you, Stream Elements, for doing your thing. Sangji says, a theist would say faith is all that is needed under God's grace. And see, that's the whole deal. That's what they're sold on, right? That's on the packaging. If we, my friends, were going to create a religion, say the religion of Chris, we'd have to lay out some rules. We'd have to tell people one of those rules, right? We've kind of been seeing how this religion thing's been going on. One of those rules would be you can't doubt this religion. You can't question. Those kind of things would be built into it. And then, we kind of like know how things went now. So we could say like, Chris actually predicted 9/11 and all these other things just to make it seem, because we're writing it after the fact. Skunks and Junks, thank you for becoming a member. You're my hero. Hugs. Hugs, big hugs. Don't touch my butt. Don't quit it. Thank you for becoming a member. But you know what I mean? So we would write those things after the fact because now we know them, and we could just write down in the book of Chris, right? That Chris predicted, the crash of 2008. He predicted, Donald Trump and all these wonderful things. He did it like Nostradamus. He did it over some incense. We'll call them incense. Right? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? So that's what I thought. Thank you, Skunks and Junks. And actually, hey, look, a new name. I'm going to try this. I'm going to try this. It may not be a new name. I think I may have recognized this. Jacob Ostapowitsk. I'm sorry. My Texas accent screws me up every time. Jacob. Damn it. Me, Chris, read good. Jacob, welcome to the show. Jacob says faith is based on evidence. What evidence? That's the whole purpose of faith. If you look up actually like the definition of faith, says no evidence. I mean, like not in so many words. Go look it up. Don't be lazy. Don't make me do your work for you. Thank you, Skunks and Junk. You're my hero. I am just within the last month or so become monetized and having members. And of course, Left-Handed Jedi and Kalasia have been wonderful about giving me memberships, and helping other people, passing out memberships like Oprah. And I'm going to start developing membership content. I already dropped videos early for my members and, of a certain level. And I'm going to start doing live streams just for members only starting tomorrow night, for fun, kicking. Just to kick it and have fun with my members, because that's what it's about. So thank you for subscribing. There may not be a lot there, is kind of what I'm saying, but I'm working on it. Thank you. I appreciate you. Oku Beanside. Beanside. Man, that's a cool name. If you have good evidence, you don't need faith. That's wonder. See, I like that one. That's a great comment. Let me catch back up and see. We've got some wonderful names coming here that are very difficult to pronounce. I mean, no offense. I always blame my accent. I am not dyslexic, if I even claim to be on it. I'm not. Alvin Mod Photo, morning, afternoon here in Sweden. Very cool. Thank you for joining us. Found your channel after your appearance on Truth Wanted. Thank you. Man, Truth Wanted has been it was a very good experience for me. I had a great time. I look forward to them having me back on the show. Hopefully it'd be nice if I could get Kelly to come on the morning show and just kind of hang out. He said he would. And when people say things, you hold them to it, especially if you know they didn't mean it. But he was a lot of fun. I enjoyed Kelly. Larry Scar, religious. All religious language is nonsense. God, what's that? Grace? It's all nothing at best. True. That's an interesting point. If you have good evidence, you don't need faith. I really like that one. Where's Fuckleberry? If you mean Pastor Dean, he was here before the show. He's probably working or doing something, praying on someone. I mean, praying. Sandy, eyewitnesses to what and when exactly? One of the things, so we're talking about the videos that I got coming up today. I'm going to work on a video today. I've got 2 videos I'm working on. One of them is the episode 14 of the Evil God Monster of Abraham series. And the second one is the top 10 contradictions about Jesus in the Bible. That's going to be a fun one. I can't wait. I can't wait to see the hate in my comments. And this is funny. I have to go every morning. I have to go and check my comments to see if there's that's been hidden. It doesn't tell you, hey, you've got hidden comments there. You got to go look. So if you don't go look, it'll sit there forever, but you got to go look. And I approve all of them. I mean, I don't think I've ever approved any of them, no matter how ugly they are. Because if somebody's being ugly at me, they've proven my point. Fun stuff for the whole family. Let me catch up here on our chat while we're doing this. And we are talking about, really, one of the best Truth Wanted episodes in a long time. Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, hopefully, with any luck, they'll have me on there again. Truth Wanted is a great channel. It's fun. One of the things I enjoy about it is it's not really necessarily about religion. We could talk about anything. I like talking about other things because I'm just as interested in them and passionately want to disprove them. Like ghosts. I love talking about ghosts. You want to talk about ghosts? Hook me up, because I've got this thing about ghosts. I won't go into it now, but I have a logical reason why ghosts don't exist. If they did, you would know it. Everyone would know it, and that's my logical. I would go into it now, but you know what I mean. I really like talking about those things. Ancient aliens. I dig talking about that stuff. I do. I used to believe. Now I need to be convinced. That sort of thing. It's a fun topic, and it's not always religion and all that. But in this case, we did talk some religion. Yeah, Dane. That's interesting. I have a lot to learn about these bigger shows, but I enjoy it. It was fun. It was nice to be able to just get there and talk and rattle my head and all that. Try to remember what the hell I'm talking about. I was like, okay, that weed doesn't work for that show. Let's work on. Alvin Mode, I hope I said that right, says, Ghost is real. I'm listening to them right now. The Swedish heathen satanic rockers, of course. I may have to support them on my show, get like a link to their stuff on. That sounds like an awesome collaboration right there. Yeah. There's let me catch up here. Man, our chat is growing good. So real quick, let me go find this video. I'm going to post this thing here. Let me go find. I think you guys are going to do this. I think you're going to dig it. You're going to dig it, my friends. Based on, let's go faith. Gotta have faith. No. So it's, show all. There we go. Hello, love. All right. So now, one of the things about these older videos is my language in them was harsh. So it's very likely that, I can even see by 2 of them. Here, let me show you. Two of them are limited monetization already because of because of my language. And here are the topics, though. Unaliving babies to prove your faith. Quickie with the skeptic, number 7. Using blind faith to unalive children. Those are the topics. Now, this is about faith. We'll watch this one, though, because this one's not going to wreck my monetization on this stream. Here we go, my friends. Peep this, my homies. Ow, that's very loud on my ear holes. Hello and welcome to the Daily Atheist. Well, we have another example of some delusional theist murdering their child to prove their faith to their imaginary God. And we're going to talk about it right now. Stick around. So I'm not really sure how I get away with how this video is monetized and the other ones aren't. Oh, damn it. Damn thing. Get big already. Don't make me come over there. Okay, before I get too far along, I have to say that if people killing their children to prove their faith in God pisses you off, then hit that subscribe button and that little notification bell. Sandy says, yeah, I have sensitive ear holes too. Watch it, buddy. I know.
On these monsters of darkness.
That was one of the things I really appreciated about being on the Truth Wanted, was that I got there, they hooked up with my mic, there's my system. I got a pretty good mic, but I didn't have compression, all that. They're like, don't worry about that, we got it. And man, they hooked me up. I didn't have to worry about those things. It was so nice. So, let me see here. Let me go back to this video. Master Pastor, there he is. Yeah, so let me catch up. All right, so we're going to do this video here. And so what we're talking about today, Pastor Dean, for those of you, we're talking about faith. Since you're, I think, the first obvious Christian here, we're talking about faith and how harmful it can be. Yes, harmful. So let me do this real quick. Back this up just a moment. Before I get too far along, I have to say that if people killing their children to prove their faith in God pisses you off, then hit that subscribe button and that little notification bell. Show me some love and support for shining a light on these monsters of darkness. Why does my channel get I don't know why my channel gets shadow banned by YouTube. Now on with the show. He does. Thor kicks. Yes, I agree. Unfortunately, things like this happen so often that I want to start a video series called Faith Kills. And every time I see a news article about some religious psycho killing his children to prove his faith, or doing something stupid like jumping in a lion's cage thinking God will protect him, I'll make a video about it. Because faith really does kill. And whenever you hear someone say faith is harmless, you'll have video evidence to show them otherwise. Now, technically, at this point, I had 4 videos based on faith being used to harm other people. This is right. So, just for those of you who are just getting here, yeah. So there's more, easily a lot more. Special thanks to Hermant Mehta, the friendly atheist, for his article over at Atheist about this incident, which I'll link below. Okay, this time it happened in Wales, June 8th of 2018. A woman named Carly Ann Harris, who described herself as a fallen angel who had to prove her strength to God, drowned her 4-year-old little girl in a bathtub. Not that that's funny. Sorry, guys. I'm not laughing at that. Here's what's just hit my brain that made me laugh a little bit, was that Pastor Dean was talking about Billy Carson. Dang, Darklight came in here and is like, where's Fuckleberry? Which is his code word, secret love language for Pastor Dean. And both of them apparently are keen on the topic of Billy Carson. So now it's like we're going to have a Godzilla versus King Kong on Billy Carson right here in the chat. I'm eager. I'm ready to watch. I may have to pause the show. And go, people, entertain us. Dance, monkeys, dance. For fuck's sake. Yeah. I'll carry on with what I was doing. Took the child. This time it happened in Wales, June 8th of 2018. A woman named Carly Ann Harris, who described herself as a fallen angel who had to prove her strength to God, drowned her 4-year-old little girl in a bathtub, took the child's body, wrapped it in toilet paper and then a blanket, and then set it on fire on a coffee table out in the garden. And why did she do it? To prove her faith to her imaginary God. Does that sound familiar? Yeah, Abraham did it too, except the angel stopped him at the last moment. And what happens to the little girl's spirit afterwards seems to be little more than an afterthought to the mom. I need to get into heaven, so I did this thing. Oh, and my daughter will be with Jesus too. Totes. Her blind faith that Jesus would take care of her little girl in the afterlife or return her to a healthy state here on earth is what got this child killed. She even reportedly admitted telling her little girl, "You're going to see the angels, and I'll see you in heaven," before she murdered her. Isn't that... Okay. So I have a sneaking suspicion the only reason why the algorithm hasn't demonetized this video yet is just because it hasn't really looked it over yet. And as soon as it does, it'll get the demonetization. So just kind of circling back to that, because there's no way this jackass... Don't listen to this Don't listen to that jackass. Well, listen to him, of course, but what a handsome chin that jackass has. All right, here we go. That just twisted and vile and evil, literally evil. Just what you'd expect from a follower of the God of death, the evil God monster of Abraham. Afterwards, she was quoted as saying things like, "Amelia has gone to heaven. Jesus told me to do it, and I promise you I wouldn't do that to my only girl if she wasn't returning." How absolutely delusional and weak-minded. And yes, there are reports of her having mental health issues before the incident. If nothing else, it's situations like this which prove religion is dangerous and not something for the weak-minded or the young. Yet, that's who they target specifically. And just off the top of my head, I can think of a couple of instances where a parent in the Bible demonstrates their faith, either by killing their child or being willing to kill their child or by allowing their child to be killed. Abraham's willingness to sacrifice Isaac is obviously the biggie here. Jephthah sacrificed his daughter to God as a reward for winning a battle. Lot, Jephthah, if you're watching, I'm sorry, is it Jephthah? Just let me know in the comments, Jeff, if you're watching. And his daughters. Don't even get me started on Lot and his daughters. Of course, God, and his wife, who himself sacrificed his son for a long weekend. You know what I mean? It's like all about a blood cult and death and killing your own children. There's a lot of that goes on. There's all the way from the top. And I'm curious about something. When one religious zealot out there hears about another religious zealot out there murdering their own children to prove their faith, I wonder what goes through their mind. Do they ever so ironically shake their heads and wonder how someone could do something like this, all the while they themselves are indeed more than capable of such things? Or do they nod in approval and cross themselves, feeling the power of Christ flow through them as they listen to the report and wait for their call to do the same? How does that work in their mind? And I think one of the saddest points to be made here is that none of this is really about the child from her perspective. It's not about this world being a bad place and wanting to protect the child and ensure she got into heaven. No, it's about the mom. The mom is a fallen angel, and to prove her faith, to prove herself to God, to get her into heaven, she has to sacrifice her daughter. Ask a Christian, would you kill so-and-so if God came to you and told you to do it? Master Pastor, looking to you, honey buns. I haven't touched myself to the picture of you standing on that ladder in a while, so I'm glad you're back today. I love playing with homophobes. I know you're not a homophobe, but you can't. Anyway, would you unalive someone if your God told you to? And how does your God tell you to? People claim their God talks to them all the time. I was on a show just the other day, a very cool show called Truth Wanted, and on Truth Wanted we had a caller who was like, God told me this and God told me that, and then my mama had this cancer, and then, or at least a scan that may have showed cancer, and then later that cancer was gone after I talked to God. I'm like, really? God spoke to you out of all the people, he spoke to you. He cured your mom's cancer. You sure are special. Christians are funny. Not in a ha-ha kind of way, like, oh my God, they're going to kill us all in a kind of way. Back to this jackass on the TV, though. And it really doesn't matter who that person is, mother, brother, daughter, sister. It doesn't matter. If the Christian says, yes, you really have something to be genuinely concerned. So, yeah, any type of delusion or... So would you, Master Pastor, if you had a delusion, hallucination, convincing enough? That's all I'm saying. Maybe, who knows? Maybe you're just kind of chilling out in the garden and you catch some kind of mushroom or something. I don't know, some kind of hallucinogen incidentally and in your head. Because, you're always going around thinking about God and how vindictive it is and how everybody's going to, what if your God just kind of spoke to you during that hallucination? I could see that, And as evidenced by some of these videos, it's happened in the past. How would you react? Would you unalive someone? Alvin Mode says, if I heard voices that weren't there, I would seek help, not fall on my knees and worship the hallucination. Right. Or hallucination could turn this person into a homicidal killer. And here's a tough question. Are we not infringing on the rights of believers when we tell them they can't sacrifice their children to God? I mean, come on, we allow... The dude... Welcome to the chat this morning, the dude. What a way to kick in the door on the chat. The dude says, I have a Virgin Mary kink. At least I'm not alone. Okay. Thank you for that, the dude. Oku says, you can make the same claim about a shitload of other holy books. That's you guys got your own thing. That's true. That is true. I'm not kind of catching up what Jason said, though. Oh, if you read the Bible, it clearly outlines how we are to treat one another. You're right, Jacob. It does. It tells us to stone each other. It tells us we should take women as prisoners, girls, actually, who haven't slept with a man. So if they're old enough to sleep with a man, in their culture, which was probably, 12, 13? So if they're old enough to sleep with a man, don't have them. So keep all the ones that are young enough that have not slept with a man for yourselves as sex slaves. These are some of the things that are taught in the Bible. We're also taught by Lot. His example teaches us clearly that if you have drunken sex with your daughters, that you should conceive by God's will and have children that go on to father nations, because that's the example set forth. He who is without sin throws the first stone. Yeah, I guess so. AR says Saul of Tarsus hallucinated and worshipped the voices in his head and helped start a whole religion, though. Hashtag truth. Also, I know this may be difficult for some of you Christians to believe, depending on how your knowledge of the Bible, but Paul never met Jesus. Never. His entire experiences with Jesus were in hallucinations or dreams. So, or whatever, however you want to. KCA Randy, how are you doing? Thank you for joining us this morning. You're pro stoning. Moi aussi, mon ami. A little bit of German for you early this morning. Yeah, me too, but it's not that kind of stoning. Oh, yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you, Ding. I appreciate that. Reuben Abraham, what a name. Thank you for joining us, Reuben Abraham. I don't recognize your name. Says, I believe in one God, Father Almighty, creator of heaven and earth. Okay. At least we understand your mental stability situation. Could you give us more? We'd appreciate more. What kind of God? Which God do you believe in? One of them, the Father Almighty. Oh, you're sounding a little Catholic, maybe. This kind of sounds a little Catholic. Does it not sound Catholic? All right, so let's see. Let us know. And why do you believe in God? Which God do you believe in, by the way? Saint G says, snowy driving around here. Be safe. Be safe. Let's see here. All right, Skunks and Junk, have a bite for me. Please, thank you. Yo, Randy, Skunk's going to go have a sub. So, it's the Nicene Creed, says Reuben Abraham. Okay. Maybe I misunderstood. Maybe my question was misunderstood. Good morning, Ember. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing? Ember says, hey, Reuben, always glad to see another follower of the true God, Odin, the All-Father. The All-Father. Yeah, right. I mean, look around, people. Look around. Sin is everywhere. Jesus failed. However, no frost giants. Nowhere. Thor. Get yourself a Thor tattoo. Never mind, Chris. Don't tell him that. That's a bad story. Good morning, Orla. How are you doing? Thank you for joining us this morning. We're having quite a show, having a fun time, looking at how faith kills, and has been used to unalive people. Now, after watching this video, there's a couple of videos. If you're just now getting here, I've got several videos on YouTube that have a hard time getting monetized because of the language I used. This one was not marked as one. So I thought I'll pop it open and so after this, we'll continue talking about faith. And since I'm already convinced this channel is at least this stream today's won't be monetizable, we'll just go on. It's funny that when you think about faith and its effects and how people use it, that thinking and speaking about those benign topics gets you banned on YouTube or demonetized. Isn't that interesting? I try to respond to text sometimes. Alvin Mode says, do you take calls? Would be fun to hear Ruben explain. No, I don't, but I'm on, thankfully, other shows, Truth Wanted and stuff, that do take calls. So good morning, Simply Secular Dave. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing? I hope you're having a great day. Ember says, Odin didn't sacrifice a child. He hung himself from the world tree. They just don't make gods like they used to. All right. I mean, and these ones, they complain about abortion and unaliving children. It's really a problem for them. And yet they worship a God who unalived his own child. For something he could have forgiven, right? Without that. Good morning, Tim Jones. Thank you for joining us. How do I believe the world started? Was it, let's see, did Odin say it started with coming out of a teat of a cow, I think. I'm not sure, really. Not sure. I'll have to find out what Odin thinks. So back to genuinely asking the question. I believe whatever science tells us. I believe in the Big Bang. What was before the Big Bang? Another Big Bang, almost certainly, or something else. Not God, though. Interesting. Here's a thought, though. You guys want to go into a thought experiment with me real quick? Let's go into a thought experiment. Let me get me big on the screen. So here's a notion that somebody once talked about. So in the whole of the universe, our own universe, the odds, it's simply as many billions and trillions and trillions of galaxies as there are. So there's bound to be hundreds of trillions of planets and all this other business in the galaxy. So whenever you think about evolution, surely the question was posed that some kind of super sentient creature, like maybe Q from Star Trek, for example, which would be conceived as a god, right? Because if it was conceived within our universe, then it wouldn't be a god, right? A creature that created the universe. All right, so let's take Q from Star Trek. Pretty much like a god, can do those kinds of things. Now, that Q individual rides out the universe. He evolved in this universe, rides out the universe, lives through the end of our universe, and then is able to create another universe. At that point, is it God? Well, really, it was more along the lines of if is it not possible that something could eventually evolve within the 16 billion years that this universe has had that we would recognize as a one true God throughout the entire universe that had that kind of power over it? Obviously, it couldn't come from before it, right? It'd have to evolve here in that scenario. Interesting thought, though. Let me see what Master Pastor says. All your space theories about galaxies is completely false. All they do is collect light images that are completely distorted and make up what they are. They don't know what they're looking at. This is Master Pastor. Thank you, Master Pastor, for exposing your ignorance of science right here on my channel. Always good for a laugh. Sangji says, I thought God clicked his fingers and had the sun, moon, and stars revolve around it. Isn't that the truth of the Bible? I think it probably is. But, really, I don't know. I've made this argument there. They come up with this argument that, where did the universe come from? if not for God. Universe has to have a beginning or creator. That's it, the word creator. And then they don't like the idea that their God has to have a creator. Their God is outside the universe. Okay, fine. But your God still has to be within a universe of its own. And it has to have a beginning and an end. If it doesn't, then it doesn't exist. And so that kind of thing. That's interesting conversations. I got to watch, you guys are having a good time there. I got to watch Forrest Valkai engage with one of these truthers, these precepts who go on about truth and all this other business, and it was a maddening waste of time for most of the video. This notion that if you believe in truth, somewhere in the Bible, Jesus said he is the truth. And therefore, if you like the truth, if you're a person who likes truth, then you must love Jesus because Jesus said he is truth. And what they try to do is get you to admit that you love the truth, or that you follow the truth, that the truth is key to your core, that what you seek in life is the truth. And once you admit that, then they go to their scripture about how Jesus claimed to be the truth. You know, and yeah, it was, but here, what was the beauty of it? And I'm not terribly familiar with Forrest. I really enjoy him though. But the beauty of it was Forrest was like, wait, is this where you're going? That you're going to claim that blah, 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 blah. And at that point, the guy's whole argument just like, oh, no, I'm just trying to ask you your question or your thoughts about it. Or, you know, because then he didn't want to admit that that's where he was leading, that he was trying to lead them into this trap, because Forrest called him out ahead of time and just blew his whole argument right out of the water right from the beginning. And this guy's part of it was even like, everybody seeks truth. Everybody's highest goal is to find truth. I'm like, dude, no, mine was to get laid for a long time. I had nothing to do with truth unless it was chasing tail back in the, you know, dating time. You know what I mean? To say that I seek truth, but then they start twisting it by going, that's the truth at the time for you. See, everybody, whatever you seek, it's your truth. And now they go on with Jesus. And I'm like, dude, you're killing me here. This is just babbling nonsense. And then they go back into a circle. And then they go back into a circle. Well, Jesus said, well, you know. You guys are ready. Let's see here. I'm just catching up with our chat. Good morning. God equals the square root of -1. Thank you for joining us. So all other gods are false, but you were indoctrinated into the correct religion. How lucky. Yes, how lucky for you. Forrest is great. I really enjoy it. Forrest has got that show. I want to be on his show. I want to get on there. I used to avoid engaging Christians, and part of it was a confidence issue. You know, I didn't know enough about it, or I didn't feel confident enough about it, or all this stuff. Oh, some people know so much more about the Bible than I do, or whatever. And, you know, I've had people throw out things about the Bible and go, what about this scripture? I'm like, what about it? You know, I'm not familiar with it, but let's talk about it. Let's find it, because it's so easy to find the hideousness of the book of death, the evil God monster of Abraham. It's so easy to find. Phantom X 11, thank you for joining us. Happy birthday. Who's got a birthday today? Who's survived another circle around the earth? Tomorrow? Oh, tomorrow is your birthday. Happy birthday, Skunks and Junk. Wow. Happy birthday. You should join us tomorrow. How many spankings do you get? Reuben Abraham says, I believe Mormonism is false. That's fantastic. I'm glad we can agree on something. Can we expand on that? Which religion do you believe in? Let's examine that one with the same eye with which you examine Mormonism. If you believe in a religion, you may have just been being sarcastic. Tim Jones, Christianity provides the only rational explanation for the beginning of the universe. Something as intricate as creation can't appear from nothing. How intricate is God? How intricate is your God, Tim? Answer that for me. Is it intricate, or is he simple and boring? I mean, is God more or less advanced than I? Come on, Tim. How intricate is your God? Did it just pop into existence. You say things can't pop into existence that are intricate, and yet you claim your God just popped into existence or has always been. You can't have it both ways. You just can't have it both ways. So there you go. Where did your intricate God come from? And we've had this now. Your God didn't ever appear from nothing. He existed from eternity past. Where did he come from? What's his mom's name and his dad's name? Do you even know, really? Did you know that your God is actually part of a pantheon of other gods that they used to all believe in? And I mean, it's really, you should go check it out. It's fun for the whole family. He existed from eternity past. Again, great. God existed from eternity past. What eternity past? Well, who's his mother? Who's his father? What created him? You just can't have that. You can't have your God just pop into existence all fully created. Not if my universe can't pop into existence. My universe didn't, in fact, pop into existence fully created. We don't know what the spark was. We just haven't determined that yet, but we saw that there's a spark and a whole bunch of actually growth and development that we've actually seen and we can calculate and we understand. It's called science. You should check it out. Pastor Dean denies it, of course, right? Literally denies astrophysics. He did it just in the thing a minute ago because he's so smart. What's God's favorite color? Red. Blood red. Have you not been watching my show? That's a great question. Plague. What a fascinating name. Plague says, God is eternal, unaffected by time, space, and matter. He is a spiritual being. You all asking where God came from assumes a limited God. My God is unlimited. He has no beginning. This is no beginning. My universe, same for my universe. My universe has no beginning. No beginning. You can't prove that it don't. I mean, this nonsense, your God, again, man, here's the thing. Take your God, okay? Peep this, my homie. Your God has to live within a time frame of its own. It has to. You can't say it has no beginning, no end. It never came from nowhere. It just popped into magical existence out of nothing. You can't say that. If it lives, it either lives outside of our universe where it was created itself. It didn't create itself. It was created. It itself was created. Okay. It was created. It was born. And then it went through life. And someday it said, you know what? I think I'm going to create a universe. And boom, it creates a universe. And then it goes through time with us, watching everything you do, everything you masturbate to as you go on through your life. And it's bound to burn you in hell, no matter what, because all Christians think every other Christian is wrong. So it goes through that. And then at the end of the universe, it goes on with its life afterwards. It has to have like a time frame of its own that it exists in. If it doesn't, then it doesn't exist. And our universe exists. We can prove it. We've got all this, I hate to use the word again. It's a hard word for you guys. Science that proves our universe exists. And you got nothing. Where did the spark come from? All right, Tim, I'll tell you what. Tim Jones has the question, and I'll answer it. I just don't think you're going to like it, Tim. Tim asks, where did the spark come from? Peep this, my homie Tim. Imagine that you've got a glass, and it's got Sprite. You got a Sprite over here. And you take that Sprite and you pour it into the glass, okay? You see all those tiny, tiny little bubbles? Each one that creates, forms, and is destroyed? Each one of those is a universe. Pouring it into glass, whatever caused that little bubble to create, that was the spark. And each universe has its own spark, and there's thousands and millions of them out there. I used the example of pouring soda into a glass so you could see the example of a bunch of bubbles like a foam in the universe, of universes being created like little bubbles that have their own time frame. Please don't go, well, who's the guy pouring the glass? I get where you're going with that. I already see that coming. Yes, there, the whole guy pouring the glass. So that's me, God, right? I'm God. And if that were the case, think about that though. If that were the case and I were God and I were pouring the glass, creating all those bubbles of universes. See, you think this is the only one, but there could be billions or trillions of other universes out there like bubbles, like a foam of universes. You just don't realize it. Your brain doesn't, you don't get it. Okay, but so let's say that's the case. I'm pouring the thing, even if I were God, I know what every creature and every foam and every bubble in that universe is doing. You got to wrap your mind around it. Try to use your reason, Leonidas. You know? Don't hurt yourself, though. I mean, like, sit down if you're going to think about this stuff. And Brenda Beamer Ford, thank you for joining us. Nice to have you. I don't know what you're going to say, but I'm fixed to find out. Says, quantum in all points in space, time, space, circle, squared, triangulated, fractal, a thunder, perfect mind all at once. Is this like a Bitcoin key? Singing in every cell of our body, proton, neutron, electron, me, mine, 369. Fascinating. Interesting. Tim Jones, you can't point me to any original event. That's not my job, brother. You should go look into science. That's more of a science thing. I mean, I dig science. I believe in science. I trust science. I do. You should go learn the science. That's the thing about science. See, both science and religion make claims. We can back our claims up on the science side. You can't back your claims up on the God side. And you've now receded your God. Your God used to be like all these things, and science was able to explain all these things. And now your God has literally been receded all the way back to the beginning spark of the universe. You know? Yeah, Brenda sounds awful bottish, Dave. Dave says Brenda might be a bot. I can see that. Orlov says, or you guys are going on about yourself. That's wonderful. I appreciate you guys getting together there in the chat. Now, I want to go back to this as we were going on about faith. So we were talking about faith and belief. And so now that I've figured this video here has pretty much trashed my whole thing. Let's see where we are on our poll. Let's refresh L page. Larry Scar says, tell us how science doesn't work on the science machine. Exactly. I know they don't. I've told them in the past, I'm like, listen, shut off your device, take a hammer to it, beat it with a hammer, and then pray it works and have your Lord fix it so you can still see me, you know? Bad example, Master Pastor. Master Pastor says people also built your house and you trust it's going to keep you safe, right? Yeah. That's I don't know where you're going with this, but I think it's a bad analogy whenever you start using your religion. Plague says, the multitude of people who wrote about Jesus Christ in the Old Testament, which was dated to no. That's wrong. Every bit of that is, let me finish it though, so we can exemplify how wrong it is. The multitude of people who wrote about Jesus Christ in the Old Testament, which was dated to the BC era, and the New Testament was compiled and written in the AD era, and all comes to pass. All of that is wrong. It's wrong. Now, it's going to be hard for you to believe, okay? But what they did is they tried, people who were trying to make Jesus sound like a prophet, read the Old Testament and said, okay, well, something happened here and we're going to try to make it sound like Jesus. You'll know him by his stripes. Okay, so you know him by his stripes. What does that even mean? Go look in the Old Testament, example of who got their stripes that they talk about. It was actually like a thief who stole something and he got stripes. There was something, I mean, it doesn't have anything to do with Jesus at all. You really have to stretch your mind to try to make that as some sort of prophecy. Oh, he cried out, the Lord, his name will be Emmanuel, not Jesus, right? The prophecies don't work. They do not work. I'm going to do a whole video. Oh, I got to write that in red. Jesus as a prophecy, prophetic Jesus, because you hear this so often. That they say, oh, Jesus fulfilled the prophecy of the Old Testament. But he did not. He did not. Two things you got to consider, though. And part of the problem is that they could have even certainly have done it better. Part of the problem is that the Jesus stories were written 70 years, you're right, AD, after Jesus was dead. So that's like 2 generations of people telling these stories from their kids to their grandkids to their somebody else who finally wrote that shit down. Okay. Now, in that time, you don't think it's reasonable that these religious people could have looked at this older text and gone, hey, look, if we say right here, it'll make it like our God actually fits this text. You don't see how easy that could have been? Which is more likely, let's use Occam's razor, which is more likely or more realistic, that people who wrote the book generations after Jesus lived interjected things that they thought would make him look like some sort of prophet from the Old Testament. Now, here's the deal, though. They didn't have the Old Testament. They didn't have the collection of books that we have like we have now. So any predictions they made in the New Testament, that's why they're all screwed up and they don't work, because they had like different, it wasn't all a collection of books like it is now. You just have to go with me on that one. Go figure it out yourself. But that's what I'm saying. Of course, they didn't even have it until the Council of Nicaea. And by then, all the Christian books had already been written. So as far as having an Old Testament to go back to, there was different, that's why there's so many contradictions. Yeah, let me see here. There's so much chat, guys. The bigger the channel gets, the harder it gets as we go through the morning to keep up with the chat. I apologize. So if I missed your point, if you responded, Josephus, Plague, listen, man, you should, Plague says, because we've never heard these arguments before. Plague says, Josephus, Tacitus, Pliny the Younger, they wrote works such as Antiquities of the Jews. That's great. Go look at how they don't prove or they don't have Jesus in them. Go look at how there are earlier versions of certain of those writings that don't have Jesus in them, but that we can see that later people actually added Jesus to them. Go look at how when Josephus was born and Tacitus was born and Pliny the Younger were born, they were all born after Jesus was dead. So you go look at that stuff, man. What the problem is you don't know. You should go really research that stuff. I'm just some dude. Oh, wait. Did you just say name a contradiction in the Bible? The earliest prophecy of Jesus Christ was in Genesis 5. That's not even. I did a video actually on that about how they tried to jam Jesus into the Old Testament. I would play that video for now, but it's kind of boring because there's a lot of watching Christians try to jam their Jesus. This word means this, it means this, right? We're not buying it, man. You just can't jam Jesus in there. You can try all you want, but we don't buy it. Any reason that's applied to it makes it fall apart. And so you want to name a contradiction. Now, matter of fact, I don't know. I'm not sure who you're talking to there, Plague. But what I do want to mention is that I have some contradictions in the Bible. Would you like to see them? Two things. One is I'm currently working on the top 10 contradictions in the Bible about Jesus Christ. I'll be dropping that video hopefully by the end of this week. And the second is, let me give you a link that I'm sure you will appreciate ignoring that will give you a list of contradictions in the Bible. I will post this for you, mon ami. Here you go. Now, you're like, oh no, this is just stupid. Check it out. Peep this, my homie. Here's you some Bible contradictions. Now you're like, oh, that's the Old Testament. No, actually, wait. This is the New Testament over here. These are all the contradictions in the New Testament where it claims stuff and they contradict themselves. Look at all those contradictions. The perfect immutable word of God looks pretty muted to me. So there's that. KCA Randy, full of contradictions, absolutely. Master Pastor says, if you think the chat moves, accolades are a sign of your intelligence, wonderful. And I bet your IQ is a sign of intelligence too. I'm not sure who you're talking. You must be talking to somebody else. I don't know what you're talking about. Ember says, wow, the kindergarten level of apologia in this chat. I know, right? Here's the thing, my friends. Some people, all right, in our brains, we have this little spot in our brain where it squeezes out shame juice. Most of us have it. Some of these people don't have it. They come in here and they say the stupidest things. I'm not calling them stupid, YouTube gods. Orla, I'm not calling them stupid. I'm just saying some of the things they say require very little reason to to debunk, and it's embarrassing sometimes. But I am glad. One of the things I'm grateful for, even though it's getting to where I can't hardly keep up with the chat. So, there's Orla. I didn't call them names, Orla, I promise. Orla says, see, culturally, we were discouraged from reading the Bible at one point. It was actually illegal to translate it into English because they didn't want people to read the actual Bible. Here's the deal. It was illegal to translate it into anything except Latin. And I think that was what the old guy weed problems. I think it was like 1609 or something whenever they finally got tired of that. And Martin Luther posted his thing on the door saying, bitches, we're going to do it in another language. And they finally did it in other languages. I think that's essentially how it went down. I'll probably have my historian degree with revoked. That's just a thought. Plague says, just because you don't understand the Bible, doesn't make it contradictory. I'll let you observe that yourself. Now, I could understand maybe if there were like 1 or 2 or 1 or 200, but we're talking like thousands of contradictions in the Bible here, my friend. And this is not it, brother. Go ahead and click the link. Here you go. I know your brain is just not going to get this, but I'm going to give you the link again. Give you the link again. I'll give you the link again. Tanner TBD. Hey, there's a new name. I don't think I've seen your name. I'm going to find out what you got to say. What happened in your life that made you believe there isn't a God? Most atheists. Oh, I hate it when they do that. Fuck. Most atheist belief is rooted in negative personal experiences that make them think God, no one would have allowed this to happen. See, Tanner, that's bad thinking on your part, man. You just strawmanned us. That's bad thinking. No. What is an atheist? Somebody who doesn't believe in a God, period. What happens is if somebody is raised without being indoctrinated into a religion, they start from birth not believing in a God. The position is atheist. You start until somebody convinces you there's a God. Okay? And God didn't touch me in some bad place. God didn't hurt me. None of that business. Most of us are atheists because you just haven't put forth any proof or evidence to convince us otherwise. All right, fine. You want to go with the universe being here is proof of God. Oh, no, it's really not. It's just proof that the universe is here. There's no proof of God. You claim your God is all powerful, but it can't even speak up for itself. I mean, we could go on about ourselves here, but why? You'll deny it. You just can't see the light. When you're ready, you'll come around. But you've been indoctrinated. Brethren Lee, thank you for joining us. Evolution is defeated. I love that. That's fantastic. See how they come out and they just like expose themselves. You don't even have to wonder who's like with it and who ain't. Evolution is defeated. Yes, evolution. All those millions and millions of pieces of evidence that we've gotten, yet you have zero evidence that your faith, whichever one you believe in, doesn't exist or is the right one even. 1043, Brethren Lee says 1043 scientists dissent from evolution. So there's questions you should ask. Were any of those scientists paid? Were any of those scientists actually parts of Christian educational systems or Christian-backed funding or any of that business? Are those real scientists? You should probably look into that. We've got a lot of science at this point. A lot of science at this point that proves evolution. Proves evolution. I mean, as much as you can prove a theory, because we got all the evidence, right? And you just don't understand evolution. If you don't believe in evolution, you don't understand it. Right? You don't have to have faith in it. You can see its work. It doesn't work in mysterious ways. It works in quite predictable ways. There's a randomness to it, but your circumstances and environment can predict where you will go. It's quite simple. Your religion, though, doesn't do that. Your faith does not do that. Your God does not do that. I hate to break it to you, my friends. I do. Yeah, Dane Darklight, man, I would hug you right now, brother, but people would look at us funny because our beards would stick together. Dane says evolution is a scientifically documented process. They don't like the S word. You got to watch out for that. They really don't like science, facts. They love the word truth, but they don't know what it means. They clearly don't know what it means. Hello, Drinkwater. Thank you for joining us. Evolution doesn't answer the Exodus problem. You're going to have to be more specific. Chris Fairley, thank you for joining us. If God made us, what made God? See, that's the question I've been asking, but they don't like that. They're like, nothing made God. God just popped into existence all by itself or something like that. They really don't like those arguments. Man, let's see. You guys are rocking today. Slick Guns, what a cool name. Watching the Christian faith fail. What the hell? Yeah, it fails. Have you noticed? Fails all the time. Are you a theist? Are you a believer? That's unfortunate for you. I'm just curious, though. Go ahead, Slick Guns. I'm keen to see what you have to say. Tim Jones, science is not objective truth. Religion is not objective truth. Science is closer to objective truth. Science is closer to objective morality, or not objective morality, but just objective reality. That's what science is. Science is the same no matter what. If you take math and you forget what math is, and your entire society forgets what math is, later on when another society finds math, it'll be the same. It's the same. It's the true nature of the universe. Your religion isn't that way. Your religion cannot be that way. There are tens of thousands of different versions of Christianity all over this planet. Just Christianity. That's not counting Abrahamic religion, the other Abrahamic religions. It just cannot be. You think about it. Use your reason. Cannot be. And yet, because look what happens if you like your faith, every time a new religion comes up, they're not the same. They're all different. Every time it's never the same. All the rules are different, but the universe is the same. But even your God, whichever God you believe in, if you're coming from the Abrahamic religions, is as inconsistent as what we see on this screen. Absolutely contradictory. And what we know about the universe is the laws of the universe are rigid and functional, and they work. This is contradictory. This is wrong. This does not work. This is a bunch of crap made up by a bunch of men to control other men using what they believed at the time was some form of God that they had been taught from their parents or something. You know what I mean? It's not real. This is not real. It's not something you should be using to control other people with today. And yet that's what they do. Christianity is all about controlling other people. Okay. And what we've been talking about faith, if you don't like my notions on faith, I tell you what, we already went over one video about how a mother unalived her own child because of faith. And it happens a lot more regular than you would probably like to think. I've got another one here. Which one should we watch? Let's watch this one here for you, my friends. Let's go here. And go here for our new friends who are, faith is good. Wait, Christians. Let's see what your faith does.
Check this out.
Now, if you'll notice, I used faith to grow my hair. Oh, wait. It wasn't faith. It was finasteride. Science did that. I didn't try praying, no. But if you're balding and you're a Christian, you should try it and see if Jesus thinks highly enough of you to allow you to pray and grow your hair. Because, I use science and I got hair.
Murderers are getting state backing to continue killing their own children in the name of God.
This isn't really the one I want. This one here pretty much makes it to where there's a state up there where their religion allows them to deny medical care to the children, and the state has to acknowledge that. That's not really the one I wanted. That one pisses me off, but that's not the one I wanted. Yeah. This one here, though, since we're already not going to be able to see this one later, let's just do this one. Slick Guns says, you must not be talking about me.
Killing children. Imagine you had already had a child. That child was sick.
Because it looks like Slick Guns, it says, I see you've never studied the scriptures. And then puts a space between the exclamation point. That's cute. Yeah, no, I have. See, I actually have studied the scriptures, and that, my friend, is the problem. That's the problem you're going to find if you continue watching what I present here, is that I do study the scriptures. I have an entire series here. You can look in the description. I think there's a link down there called The Evil God Monster of Abraham, where I go through the book of Genesis chapter by chapter. and show you how horrific your God is. Because you know why? You know why? Because I am familiar with the scriptures. Maybe you're not familiar with the scriptures. Have you thought about that? I'll let you think about that. I've been watching some of that Eric Murphy, where he lowers his voice and he talks to you, lets you come into him. Listen to my words. Is it working? Are you like brainwashed? You should go check out the videos where I talk about your God and how horrific it is and all that stuff. I think you'd enjoy it. Ethan, why is it so important to you to recruit? Is Ethan here? Who's which Ethan? Let me look. There's a lot. I got to say, guys, the spark of the bang was Big Bang, was God. Was it Tim Jones? How do you prove that? That's what I was saying earlier. Your God has kind of receded. Remember? I mean, it just keeps receding to the end. What if someday they're like, oh, wait. Oh, wow. We've actually got our like gravitational lensing, you know how like light will go around a galaxy and look, you'll be able to see what's behind that galaxy. So that's kind of a weird science thing. Let's think about that. Maybe they somehow say, wow, we can actually see the point of the Big Bang. And it's kind of like a reflector. We can see through to what was before the Big Bang. And it just so happens there was another universe there that was created and just kind of, or whatever. Anything but your God with a little magic snap in his fingers or twitching his nose or whatever you think he's going on. But I mean, all it takes is for them to find any kind of proof. And your God disappears. And he's already disappeared, just receded, kept receding. And now he's just at the beginning of the universe. Gosh, man, you guys are wonderful in the chat. Thank you all for being so awesome. Master Pastor, cool. Stay in your hamster wheel of words. I'm using speech to text. Yeah, I try to be forgiving of some people once I realize that. Tim Jones says science proves creation. The expansion of the universe, the precise conditions for life, radiation, afterglow, and the second law of thermodynamics all point to they don't. That's ridiculous. Let me just take your second one. I really like this one, the precise conditions for life. Look how big this universe is, dude. I mean, look how big it is and how tiny the amount of it that is actually usable for life. The precise conditions for life. Look how this universe is not geared for life. No. Not even this planet. When you go look at science, the science will show you that at one point humans were down to about 1,000 people. The world is so harsh that we barely made it to where we are. And most of us couldn't live outside of our comfy zones at all, even in our comfy zones, even here in the Southwest of the United States. In the cold of the desert, in the hot of the day, without the provisions that I now have, I would probably starve to death in a very short amount of time, because this world is not as suited for life as you think. And the second law of thermodynamics, I mean, you don't even know what you're talking about, obviously, or you wouldn't have brought it up. Somebody must have, one of those apologetics things must have thrown that out there. These things that we've already talked about, these being thermodynamics is part of a natural law that is something that's difficult to explain without, it's the universe. Again, your God is so contradictory, so hither there, whether to there, that you can't even ridiculously claim that it's a God of laws, rigorous, steadfast laws. You just can't say that. Ethan Moore. Hey, okay, there's Ethan. There's an Ethan. Flick Gun says there are morals involved here. Okay, you guys got something going on. Fun chat over there, obviously. Let me refresh this chat because something is amiss. It looks like... Boom, 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 boom. Because we were talking about faith, and I do want to get back on the faith issue here because I've got something going on I want you to talk about. So I'll refresh that chat. Let me check out something. Okay, cool. Now, let me go back to this, my friends. We're talking about faith. Faith, harming people with faith.
Advice to take it to the doctor and that child.
Okay, here we go.
Well, it doesn't take much to find examples of faith killing children. Imagine you had already had a child. That child...
Okay, maybe what happens is if I hit this big button before... You make me angry. You make me very, very angry. Why does it do this only during the show? Hit the big button before I hit play, maybe. Okay, we'll try that. Here we go, friends. Check out, look at what Faith has done. Hi, Diana Gold. Thank you for joining us this morning. Nice to see you. Kalasia, how are you doing? Nice to have you. We're talking about faith this morning. And hey, yeah, you was up early enough. I know whenever you were telling me like you were tired and you get to sleep. And I was thinking, wow, man, I wish I was, I'm of that age, but I married a nurse and she gets up stupid early and I get up stupid early now and I wish I could sleep. I do. I sleep all the time. I'm a napper. Here we go. So what we're talking about is faith and how faith harms other people. And I'm showing this some of these older videos that are like pre-minoxidil, my pre-minoxidil videos.
It doesn't take much to find examples of faith killing children. Imagine you had already had a child. That child was sick.
Thank you for joining us, Claysia.
Didn't take people's advice to take it to the doctor, and that child died.
I'm actually, while this jackass on the screen talks, this guy over here, I'm going to go fill up my coffee. That way you guys get solid crisp all the time. I'll be back on mon ami.
Now, you're facing murder charges, and things have been going along in the courts, and you've already gotten pregnant, and you've had another. Imagine you had already had a child. That child was sick. You didn't take people's advice to take it to the doctor, and that child died. Now, you're facing murder charges, and things have been going along in the courts, and you've already gotten pregnant, and you've had another child, and that baby, too, is sick. Do you refuse to take the baby to the doctor, or do you pray over the baby and hope, once again, just like the previous attempt, that your prayers are heard and your baby is saved? What do you do? Stick around and I'll tell you about it. Hello, and welcome to the Daily Atheist, Quickie with the Skeptic Edition, Episode 5.
Wow, this is old stuff. This was back in 2019. I've come a long way.
Before we get too far, use all the faith you can muster and reach out and hit that subscribe button and the like and give me a thumbs up, show me some love. All right, now, on with the show. Okay, so for our first episode that really dives into this, I want to start with this couple here. Now, they're kind of...
Here's an interesting notion I want to kind of come up with. Well, I didn't want to come up with it. Drinkwater said, if strong evidence for the Exodus could be found of the parting of the Red Sea, then I don't see why anyone wouldn't accept that as evidence enough. That's the whole deal. Evidence has not been found. They've actually disproven that. Even Israeli archaeologists do not believe that happened, that the Exodus never happened. You really should look into this. Now, sure, the Red Sea may have a wagon wheel in it. Well, it's a sea, and people traveled over that, and storms happened, and which is more likely? A storm happened, and a wagon or a chariot or some of that business got washed over the edge, or a ship even sunk and lost a chariot. Or some man parted the sea. Some man who would go on to later unalive a bunch of bulls and sprinkle the blood all over people and start wish, holy, holy is the Lord. It's really a sickening story. Oh, Moses. That's right. Moses. Did you know that about Moses? That he unalived a whole bunch of goats? And it's a blood cult, right? Your religion is a blood cult. Fun for the whole family. And Moses did other stuff too. Yeah, you know that whole bitter water thing that they're talking about, how, like abortions, how to give a woman bitter water. That way, if the fetus inside of her is not from her husband, if she was infidelis, then it would cause an abortion. That was given to Moses, that he was to use on his people, on the women of his tribe, to make sure that they hadn't cheated on their husbands. Moses. Fun for the whole family. Moses. Yeah, Moses. You remember the story Moses, right? That Moses. People don't. Back to
kind of a special case. As it seems, I'm going to go through this. They had a child, and the child was born with jaundice and was ill. The midwife told her to take the baby to the doctor. She refused and then dismissed the midwife. And then shortly after that, the baby started coughing up blood. And then the next day, the blood started coming out of the nose and the baby wouldn't eat. And then the next day, the baby died. And that's kind of the progression,
Okay.
despite other people telling her to take it to the doctor. And then they prayed over it, hoping that their prayers would save their baby. And
Man, no wonder anyone watched this video. It sucks. I'm going to redo these, though.
we know how it turned out. The baby died. And then, so they get thrown in jail, and they're on trial for murder of their first baby. I guess they bonded out, I guess, and then they get themselves out of searching and look around to find. I hear he's some kind of nutbag who prays about all kinds of things and says ugly things about everybody. And look at him, he looks like death. Why did she starve to death? Was she sick? And
essentially what they did is, for some reason, and it doesn't really clarify as to why, but these religious nutbags starved their daughter to death. And they did it for faith after already going through and at the time of this video that is recording as their sentence, she's pregnant again. Somehow between their first, the unalivement of their first child and this court date, they'd gotten together again and
says ugly things about everybody. And look at him, he looks like he's pretty well fed. And this is his child, Mary. And despite being a farmer and all that, his baby daughter starved to death. Why did she starve to death? Was she sick and some reason she wouldn't eat, or were they intentionally malnourishing and starving her? I'm not sure. I can't really find anywhere that says why she starved to death. But they let her die and never took her to the doctor, even though they said that she looked skinny for over a month. And then they would pray, and their distrust for medicine. And, he has a YouTube channel where he goes off on medicine and science and doctors and and then he's got all kinds of signs around his yard where I don't know if this article is going to cover it. I got some other articles here. So here's him, the examples of him, one of his videos, spewing his nutbaggery. Talking about how, the weak, if they're not going to survive.
Ethan Moore asked if she was trans because of her atheism. I haven't seen a response yet. I mean, I don't know that. I mean, a lot of atheists, like myself, I don't know why, seem to be friends of the trans community, but I don't think it's required. I don't necessarily. In other words, I don't think the two are necessarily related. I could be wrong though. In her case, Macaulay Tucker says, should Bible colleges and universities be shut down? Are you asking my opinion? Bible colleges and universities should be shut down. I don't know about that. Maybe there's a couple of things we could take. One of them is all elementary school and junior high, all the way up to high school. None of that should be religious schools. Religion should be out of all that schools. No religious elementary schools and I don't think they should allow Bible study for children in churches. I don't think they should have that. Sunday school, I think that's wrong. I don't think they should have that. Now, once you're 20, if you decide you want to go do something like that, that's your business. But to program small children, I think, is a bad idea, especially with these kinds of faiths. Now, here's a second notion about that, though. Entertain this thought, my friends. What if you could actually prove your religion? So how about this? If one of those faiths out there can actually prove yours is the right one, maybe you're an Episcopalian, maybe you're a Calvinist, maybe you're a strict Catholic, maybe you're one of these new modern Christians, whatever you are, prove your religion is the correct one. And then we'll allow it to be taught in schools. But until you can, without a doubt, prove, and you can't. See, if you could, they had already done that. We had the whole topic of the show is on faith. And faith lives without proof. Once you have proof, faith dies. Right? Faith dies with proof. Because then you know. That's part of the whole magic. That's the part of the whole sales. Remember, we're going to create our own Bible, the Book of Chris, and we got to tell them you got to believe in faith that whatever these things are true because we said so, and you must believe in faith. Works out pretty good, really. Lee Johnson, good morning. Evolution is white supremacist propaganda. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. That's kind of hard. That's a bad example. I mean, I don't think so. I don't think that's a good example. You could actually claim religion. Absolutely. Certain. I mean, look at our Christian nationalists right now. They have their God-given mandate. What do they call it? Their manifest destiny by God. That's their whole deal. They're better than everybody else. Matter of fact, there's several religions. Wasn't it the Jehovah's Witnesses or one of the guys, help me out in the chat, if you will. One of those religions even had like a certain belief about about colored people, I'm old. I apologize for the colored people. People of color, black people, those kinds of things. You know what I mean? Even certain religions delineate that and didn't allow black people to join them in certain roles or whatever. I think the Islamic religion, a lot of people believe that the brown people of Arabs were the children of don't tell me it's Hagar's son. I can't remember Hagar's son's name, but Ishmael. So they believe that like colored people, black people, damn it, son, quit saying that shit. Black people or dark-skinned people or whichever people, whomever, they vilify people of color through religion. And you're saying evolution is white supremacy. That's just stupid. You should learn stuff. You don't know stuff. Clearly you don't know stuff. Thank you for sharing that with us, that you don't know stuff. I appreciate you. Ishmael, thank you, Tim Jones. I appreciate that. There's the white supremacist myth thing again. I see. Manifest destiny built this country. The natives were brutal killers, constantly warring with each other. Actually, that's interesting thoughts. Does that give them right to be wiped out? Weren't we doing the same thing, constantly warring with each other? You have an entire history of Europe at war with each other. Germany, I'm not talking about World War II either. I'm talking about the Franks and the proto-European Germans. There's whole tribes doing all kinds of things. That point one. Point two is that by the time that we got there to do that to them, they had been wiped out by disease. Sure, there were still a lot of Native Americans left, but the majority of all of them had been wiped out by diseases that had been brought over between the time of Columbus's discovery of America and the Puritans and Pilgrims and all those coming over. There was, 200 years, 300 years between that time. And during those hundreds of years, traders, mostly through South America, brought diseases from Europe. And those diseases went up through North America. And a matter of fact, the village that the Pilgrims went in when they first got there, they moved inland to an abandoned village that had been wiped out by diseases. And so this whole notion that they were barbarians and that they hurt other people and we hurt other people. The colonial people doing their manifest destiny hurt more people than the so-called savages that you claim that they were. Sucking the dick of manifest destiny. What a thing. I mean that in the most polite of fashions. All right, back to our topic here, though, while we've got... They should die, right? Because it's evolution, the strump fittest survive, blah, 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 blah. Which is weird because he's not supposed to be an evolutionist, right? He's supposed to be a Christian. So why he would try to live by that and let the strong die. Anyway, so he's got a bunch of signs around his house that read craziness. Not just this, apparently. I've seen, there we go, there's more. And it's so clearly he's a religious nutbag. And despite everything, whenever it came down to it, he let his child die instead of taking her to the doctor. And then, as we watch this video, right here as an example, this guy is, at first it looks like he's mad. Injustice has been done to him. He is angry. As they're reading out the charges.
In Solon Township, that you're both charged with what they call felony murder while in the
He's
perpetration
angry.
or attempted perpetration of child abuse in the first degree. They're alleging that you murdered one Mary Welch. That is a charge called homicide felony murder. It is life without parole. It requires a DNA sample to be taken upon arrest.
And see, you see that look on his face? That needs to stay there for a long time. And others of his ilk need to see that. They need to go into his church and watch this video. Make them watch this. Because, I mean, look at he went from angry and bravado to...
Which is often like a cotton swab or in the inside of your cheek. The second offense that you're both charged with is called child abuse in the first degree, where they're alleging you knowingly or intentionally caused serious physical harm to a child. They're talking about this Mary Welch. It is a felony, possible penalty of up to life imprisonment or any term of years less than.
So essentially, what's kind of going on here is these people are being sentenced because they trusted their faith and their God to heal their child instead of taking it to the doctor. You know, they were right. They knew they had the right answer. They're talking to the right Lord. They've got it all down. They are special. They are the ones. And they let their child die because of it. And
Life. Now those are the two separate felony charges.
okay, so you know, and that's what I'm saying. That's right. They should go to jail. They should never breathe fresh air again. These guys are evil. I mean, not only did again they kill. Sorry, I'm reading that. Fenton Mully asks, why is his mouth open like a toddler waiting for airplane spoonful? Because he used his faith to kill his child, and he's getting sentenced to life for that. I could watch his expression over and over again. Look,
A charge called homicide felony murder. It is life without parole. It requires a DNA sample to be taken upon arrest.
and see, you see that look on his face? That needs to stay there for a long time. And others of his ilk need to see that. They need to go into his church and watch this video. Make them watch this. Because, I mean, look at he went from angry and bravado to...
Which is often like a cotton swab or in the inside of your cheek. The second offense that you're both charged with is called child abuse in the first degree, where they're alleging you knowingly or intentionally caused serious physical harm to a child. They're talking about this...
Okay, so... Not to beat the dead horse there, but that's kind of the deal. That's one of several videos that I did where people out there, most of them parents, had used their faith in their God to unalive their own children. So faith fails. People come in there like, the title of the show, Christian faith fails. What the fuck? You want to see? I got videos. I got evidence. I've got more evidence that it fails than you have that it works. Just saying. Ace Trades. Okay, you guys are having a conversation with Master Pastor. I enjoyed that y'all are having whatever the hell y'all are going on. The chat gets going so fast I can barely keep up. I did notice some new names that I hadn't recognized. I'd like to shout out and say hi to you though. Of course, Drink Water is one I hadn't seen. You're different. There was others. Let's see here. Ace Trades, of course. I hadn't recognized Ace Trades. Or maybe in a while. I think I've seen you. Tuned In Tight. Thank you for joining us. Tuned In Tight says, well, isn't that special? Church, well, isn't that special? They brought that character back? Ooh, that's cool. I mean, I'm old enough to remember. Flute Whistle, that's a cool name. Hey, don't you say that about Darwin. That's right. Go kick them in the dick if they talk bad about Darwin. Oops, Diana Gold. Hi, Diana. She says, fuck Darwin. I clearly have no idea what's going on in the chat. Fenton Woolley, thank you for joining us, you guys. I appreciate all of you joining us this morning. Yeah, so the whole notion of faith can be dangerous. It's a thing. It can be dangerous whenever you use it to hurt other people. It can be dangerous when you use it to hurt yourself. And there's a lot of examples of people using their faith to hurt themselves. So there we go. Now, before we get too far along, let me go back to our poll. I don't want to pull up all those videos. Those are, let's go back to our poll here. Faith. Okay, almost there. I'm almost there. So let me refresh our page and see where our poll stands. Yeah, I understand sometimes we feel the urge, and sometimes they say things, our antagonists may say things in the chat that may frustrate you. I would ask you to use the timeout, because remember, it pisses them off, and that makes me happy. If they stay, they have to sit there and watch the whole time. They can't say anything while they're timed out. They get frustrated. If you just kick them, they can't enjoy all that frustration. Now, I mean, if they cross the line, do the thing. I want to leave that out. That's awesome. Let me come here though. So in our poll, we've got 32 votes, and very true. Ember says, sorry, Tim, there's no morality in the Bible, least of all objective. That's true. I don't see where you guys even get that. That's crazy talk. Can't be objective if it's coming from the Bible. Here's our question of the day. What's the most problematic aspect of faith as a concept? Okay. Now, in our choices, our options, I'm only limited to 4 options. I have to say, number 4 is weak. I should do better. Do better, Chris. Do better. But number 1, it discourages questioning and critical thinking. So far, we've got 59% on that. I'll post a link down there in case any of you who have shown up recently want to go vote on that. So now, the number 2 is it's used to justify harmful actions. And as we can see, that is certainly done more often than people realize, I think. Whenever you think about any time that somebody over in the Middle East, for example, I'm going to use that because it happens there more often. Anytime they use extreme violence to punish someone else for failing in their faith, that is exactly where they're using their faith. They believe in their religion with so much faith that they're willing to harm other people for that. Christians do it too. It's just exemplary over there. And number 3, of course, is it relies on belief without evidence. I really, that's, some certain things like the evidence of science is right there waiting for you. It's daunting. But Pastor Dean, if you don't believe in astrophysics or astrophysics, you're welcome to go to college and learn those things and disprove them yourself. Learn the science that you could use to disprove it yourself. That's how it works. It's there. The magic is there, and you can go use it. With religion, it doesn't work that way. You've got so many fractured religion. All of you claim to have the truth. None of you really have the truth. You're all going to burn in hell. Just a bunch of flesh candles, flesh-scented. What is it? Human-scented flesh candles for the evil God monster of Abraham. Poetic, right? All right, and then, of course, our last option is it creates division among people with different beliefs. Those are our options. I think, though, that I think I could have done better on that last one. That was not a good option. There's that link again. And, of course, Jacob says... Oh, wait, well, I'm sorry. It was JT says, if God created morality, then it is subjective by its very definition. That's kind of the thing, what is objective morality? How do you get that? Whenever we say, and let's talk about that for a minute, friends. Whenever we say we're going to look objectively at the Bible, generally what we mean is that we're going to look at the Bible outside of religious context. We don't believe. We don't have the veil of belief with which we're going to view it. We say that's subjective, but it's really not objective. it is indeed subjective to our own views. Even though it is objective from outside the faith, it's still subjective from our own views. So one of the things is I've taken to asking questions to the chat GPT, to the AI, and asking it objectively, because it's not a believer, and you can ask it, you can program it with what you want it to, what frame of reference you want it to take. And I like it I like to ask it questions and see what it thinks from as close to an objective viewpoint as you're going to get. And whenever asked, for example, whenever I asked ChatGPT, and you can go do this yourself, theists, and go pick whichever chat you want, whether it's Bing or Chat or whatever, go ask it the question. You have the Bible, and you have an option. You can only choose one of the two options. It was written by an evil pit demon who was trying to convince you that it was the one true God and it was a God of peace and mercy, or it was written by the Christian notion of a God who's forgiving, loving, merciful, those kinds of things. Go ask ChatGPT that, and it will tell you that the book of the Bible was written by a pit demon. If you give it those choices, it will objectively analyze the actions of that God. That's the problem. See, when you objectively analyze the actions of that God in the Old Testament, because it's all over the Old Testament. Jesus didn't actually become God until later, right? If you don't know, if you know, you know. Originally, Jesus was just a prophet. He was elevated to godhood later. Sorry, Christians, I know you don't want to hear that. So that's kind of a knot you have to untie. There we go. Let me catch up with my chat for just a second. Objective morality would have to be stance independent. Right. Again, you're going to really have a hard time finding objective, especially using the Bible. Where are you going to get objective morality in the Bible? Jesus didn't say anything about not fulfilling the laws of the Old Testament. He didn't say, matter of fact, he said, I come to fulfill those laws. He was a rabbi. Remember? He was, if I remember right, the image we see of the Last Supper is actually an artist rendition of Jesus having Passover before he was taken by the Romans. What is Passover? Jesus was a Jew. Isn't that fun? That's fun for the whole family. Shroud of the Logos. Hey, Shroud of the Logos. Interesting. Who's wrong? You could be more specific. Are you talking at me or are you talking to someone in the chat? I am wrong a lot. You know what I'd like to get? And I tell people on here, don't listen to me. I'm just some jackass on the internet, right? What I'd like to get it to where I've got like some sort of truth meter thing. We could hook it up to AI and like it could monitor what was going on, was saying it. And if I said something that was inaccurate, it could beep me. It's like a lying sack of shit. It'd probably even point at me like that, lying sack of shit. If what I said was true, it'd go up. See, I was going to do that during the presidential stuff, but I just never got around to do it. Imagine if I could have had that going on during the debates. That'd have been crazy. You guys are wonderful. Good morning, Richard Madsen. Thank you for joining us. JT. Simply Secular Dave is always fun. I bet Maya Atkinson is probably Atkinson. There's no N in there, Chris. I bet Maya is watching too. She's sneaky that way. She watches too. Good morning, Guitar Dog. Thank you for joining us. I don't know if you guys, for those of you who are catching up, hey Zach, thank you for joining us. I'm going to post a link here. Oh, by the way, newbies, if you're not subscribed. Let me check where we're at here. We haven't talked about this recently. About a little over a month ago, I broke 2,000 subscribers here on the damn show, the Daily Atheist Morning Show. I broke 2,000, and yesterday we broke 2,800. Today we're up to 2,817. So if you're not a subscriber, go ahead and go do that voodoo that you do so well and do it for me. Hit that subscribe button. We are on our way to 2,900. I want to hit that 3,000. It took me a year. It took me a year of working my butt off to get the old Daily Atheist Morning Show up to to break the 1,000 mark. Once I did, I finally got a couple of hundred after that, before I shut down the show. But it took a year of solid work. Now this time here, I've come at it from a different angle. I'm more YouTube savvy, and as you can see from my videos, I've learned a lot in the 5 years. I've actually had theater training. I've been on stage, done Shakespeare. I've been in movies. You know, as you can see just by watching some of my older videos, I've come a long way. So subscribe, guys. I see more new names. Mr. Peter Smith, are you subscribed? James Jones, thank you for joining us this morning. All you wonderful people. And I'm just making sure I think I got everybody. I like shouting out to folks. One of the fun things about this, doing what I do, is getting to talk to all the people. If I couldn't, it wouldn't be worth it. You know, I mean, long form videos do better for building the channel, but I don't get to hang out with the peeps like I get to do with the live stream. So you guys are awesome. I've got a lot of, thankfully, I believe what happened today was Philip Lister dropped us in a whole bunch of more Facebook groups than we usually get into, and it has really blown up our viewership. My thing has just been stuck on 37. It said the 37 for the whole time, pretty much. It said 37. So I don't know really how many viewers we've gotten, but thank you all for joining us. I want to take a moment. I'm going to do this thing. If you're new with this, I haven't told you. Are you familiar with the Father Flanagan's line of inflatable altar boys? So we've got Father Flanagan's line of inflatable altar boys. I'll play you a commercial in just a moment. We're also working on new products for Father Flanagan's, and I've got to see how that's going to work. With any luck, I'll have my Teespring store connected to YouTube shortly. And I'm going to make some images that are like Father Flanagan's. It's good stuff. You guys just wait. This is going to be awesome. Just wait. It's going to be awesome. All right, peep this, my homies. Here we go.
Is your humble parish tired of constant litigation? Drained by bloodthirsty lawyers sucking the collection plate dry? Well, finally, no more threats of jail time and public humiliation. Try Father Flanagan's line of inflatable altar boys. Cute little fellas, eyes and mouth wide with surprise, complete with lifelike tears. Father Flanagan's line of inflatable altar boys, coming to a Walmart near you.
All right, so my headset died. My little earpods. They're ancient headsets. Earpods. So here we are. So I don't know if you guys are familiar, since we're talking about this, with the whole Father Flanagan's line of inflatable. Sometimes new people go, oh my God, what the hell did I just see? Well, I wasn't going to do the Father Flanagan's line of inflatable altar boys. There for a while, I thought that was too dark. I mean, like, man, that's dark stuff right there. You know what I mean? You're picking up what I'm putting down, and it's dark. But what made me go ahead and finally drop that video and create the video? I'd written the script a long time ago, but what made me go ahead and finally drop the video was that the Catholic Church literally created their own anime line of cartoon characters to try to attract children to the church. So I'll say that slowly. I'll say it again, word for word. The largest PDF file organization in the entire world has created a cartoon anime thing to lure more potential victims to their web. And when I saw that, I was like, wow, now wait a second. Did they really just release that? And you're like, Chris, it can't. What the hell's up with my sound, man? My sound making me go noisy. Hello, can I hear me? Okay, I hear me now. I couldn't hear my own voice in my head. It happens more often than you might think. Yes, so the Father Flanagan's line of inflatable altar boys, and therefore that's why so you're thinking, man, why don't I'll do this for you guys? You guys are awesome. I'll show you. I'll show you the short version. Mi burrito está no bueno. It hurts when I pee. There we go. That's a love song I'm writing. Okay, so now I'm gonna play this video for you. For those of you who have never seen the Father Flanagan, you're like, oh my God, what the hell did I just see? Why? Well, I'm going to show you why. Hello, and welcome to the Daily Atheist. And that's not why.
Thing that's been bothering me, I want to share with you.
Let me stop this.
A long time ago, I created an...
Stop. While it stopped, make big. while it's big. Okay, good. There we go. Now it's going to work. Audio soundtrack for a commercial called the Father Flanagan's Line of Inflatable Altar Boys. Now, it was just a parody commercial. You've seen parody commercials we have on my show. I have not remade that, even though it's hilarious in my mind, because it's
dark.
It's a little dark.
A little dark.
It's insensitive to victims,
It
right?
can-
So
it
we
can
don't
be.
we don't do that.
We don't normally do that. But
But I did tinker with the idea of creating a video collage and going ahead and releasing it as a comedy anti-religious, because you don't want people to forget about the horrors that the Catholic Church has.
Orla Seraph says no, they made an anime mascot to try to attract Asian people to the church because they misunderstood anime. This is almost certainly true.
Done to children, right? And sometimes by making light, we shine a light. Okay? So we've got all those things.
All those things.
So I was really debating in my brain, do I do that? Do I not do that? Father Flanagan's Line of Inflatable Altar Boys coming to a Walmart near you. So as I was tinkering with the idea, I went through and I was looking for images and I could not find anything. It was just, when you go and you try to find an image for something like that, you can't. It's just not really. And then the Catholic Church released their own anime character. It's a woman, girl character, Lucy. So this is Lucy, the new Catholic mascot. I want you people who are watching this to look at this and ask yourself, what is wrong with this picture? It's the Catholic Church. And you notice most of them are girls. Which one's a boy? The girls are very well dressed. They're covered up. They've got, even going so far as having hoodies that are pulled up so you can't see all of their hair. I just now realized that. And yet the boy, almost naked except for a diaper. And he's flying and kind of looking back like bend and wink going, how can they be so unaware? So I went and looked and found there's got to be another little boy, right, to represent. There's another little boy. He too is a cherub. He's not wearing underwear though. He just has a little blue towel looking thing. How can they be so unaware and release this? Well, I don't know, but I'm going to light them up. The only boy is mostly nude. All the girls are covered up completely, including their hair. This is the new Catholic thing. So I didn't really even have to, whenever I went to get graphics for the Father Flanagan's Line of Inflatable Altar Boys, all I had to do was wait. And the Catholic Church did it for me. Look at the forced immodesty.
Wait. Hold on a second. Everybody hold on a second. Hello, Nick Brindle. How are you? Thank you for joining us today. Nick says, you're welcome. I don't know why. I missed that part. The chat goes by pretty fast, so if I miss something. It says, you're welcome. This channel just popped up on my YouTube feed. I'm sure my YouTube algorithm is interesting. Yeah, aren't they all? I was an atheist, I believe you mean atheist, Mr. Yeah, for 25 years, I used to study skepticism and objectivism. English first language for me. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. I just kind of want to let you know this is a live show. Yeah, welcome to the show. We're just kind of going over a video of the thing at the place with the Catholics. With the Catholics, you know how the Catholics are. Those Catholics, you got to watch out for the Catholics. I don't trust them. I don't trust them at all. Not me. No, I don't trust them.
At the forced immodesty, at the oppression of women right here in their own cartoon. Not a single one of them. They're not showing their shoulders. No tank tops for these girls. No. You can't even tell what kind of clothes they're wearing, what kind of pants they're wearing, whether they're wearing a skirt. The one is clearly, let's go back to it. The one is clearly wearing some kind of like shorts or leggings, pants. Looks like maybe blue jeans or something. This one's got a Band-Aid on that, so it's clearly like you wouldn't have a Band-Aid on clothes. So that's her bare knee. Is she wearing pants or short, etc.? Tough to say. Their hair is covered. It's the oppression of women. Right there in front of us. The oppression, of course, it's not only the oppression of women, but also the Catholic Church really should at this point have a self-awareness about what the hell is going on. I mean, you don't do that. You don't get
hundreds of thousands of cases of children being essayed by these PDF files and then put out this kind of crap. And what is this for? What is this for? Is this the Catholic Church's attempt to reach out to adults? Or is this the Catholic Church's attempt to reach out to children? Let's just stop and think about that for a moment. The largest organized PDF file.
So wait. So tinfoil, where'd he go? No, you thought I wasn't going to call you out, didn't you? Tinfoil Star said, I got to poop pretty bad. Thank you for joining us. You didn't think I was going to say that, did you? You're probably like, he ain't going to say. Actually, he will say it if I say something ridiculous. Good morning, his messenger. Thank you for joining us again. Willing to be an antagonist in our chat. Thank you. We appreciate you as long as you play nice and don't call names and, well, threaten people. Well, people call names. You guys threaten. You do you, boo, but don't threaten people. We'll be all right. Good morning, theoretically. How are you doing, guys? Now, we've run kind of our couple hours here, but if you don't mind, I'm going to chill and hang out with you guys a little bit longer. I'm avoiding actually doing something that I'm supposed to be doing today. And you guys get to help. So we're just going to go on here. Let me continue on.
Organization on the planet has recently released. Think about that for a moment. The largest organized PDF file organization on the planet has recently released this, which demonstrates their continued oppression of women. All of the girls, which is there's many of them, they're all clothed head to toe, including, again, covering their hair. And the only boy, all right, Catholic people, there's a whole altar boy thing, Catholic priests, and you go put on your new thing, a mostly naked small boy. How unself-aware or ridiculously moronic could you possibly be?
Is your humble parish tired of constant litigation, drained by bloodthirsty lawyers sucking the collection plate dry? Well, finally, no more threats of jail time and public humiliation. Try Father Flanagan's line of inflatable altar boys. Cute little fellas, eyes and mouth wide with surprise, complete with lifelike tears. Father Flanagan's line of inflatable altar boys, coming to a Walmart near you.
How can they be so unaware and release this? Well, I don't know, but I'm going to light them up.
Can you hear me? Okay, good. Stop it. Stop. I gotta say, I got this tiny little old computer that's running this whole show, and it barely, it's chugging along. This morning, I was opening browser tabs, and the browser tab said, you have run out of memory. And when I rebooted the computer, just to, because I like to do that to see it had problems. So this computer's probably on its last little legs. We'll see how that goes. So good morning, everyone. So far now, listen, guys, if you're not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. Let's see where we're at. I just want to check out and see pourquoi. I know pourquoi. Let's see. Oh, 28:19, guys. We're getting close to 28:20. So we've been talking about how faith is harmful or can be harmful. There are a lot of instances where people want to talk about how some elderly person or some person who's in a bad way or some person who's, otherwise in a bad way, can lean on faith to make themselves feel better. You could use the example of the little old person who's nearing death and, perhaps in hospice, and you wouldn't want to go ripping their faith away from them because that's obviously a bad time because they're getting to that point. There's times for those conversations, obviously, but the harm done, it really, you want to be honest about it? I'll be honest about it. I would think, based on my understanding of the Christian faith and the way they all believe, is that almost all of them on their deathbed are terrified that they've done it wrong. They've done something sinful. There's something, for some reason, they're going to go to hell. And I think there's probably quite a few of them who really, like a good percentage of them, that gnaws on their mind right up to the last moment, especially especially if they know that they're going to be passing soon. You'll see them, praying and all that business, trying to get right with God before they pass out of fear. But us atheists don't have that. I'm going to miss my family. I'm going to miss not being here. I'm going to, miss coffee and my dogs. But, the rest, the whole passing away and all that business, it's not the same for us. Not sure what's going on. I see some caps going on there. Diana's yelling at somebody. Is it Pastor Dean? Remember, Diana, flex that timeout button if people get ugly. You guys y'all are great going on in the chat. Y'all are fantastic. So those kind of are where I have been going. Let me get this over here real quick. I want to get that out of there. And oh, damn it, I want to check our poll. And then here in a few minutes, rather than I'm being a slacker, here's what I'm supposed to do today. I'm supposed to record, edit, and upload, if possible, episode 14 of the Evil God Monster of Abraham series. I've already got the script mostly written, so I need to just get off my ass and do the thing, right? And I'm trying to avoid it, because I don't know why. I just avoid stuff like that. So here's our poll for today. Before we close out the show, I want to see where we're going. I'm going to post this link one last time, and if you guys want to go vote on the poll. Thank you all, the newbies, for watching and joining us. Don't forget to subscribe. Even if you're an antagonist, if you're a believer, watch. Come back tomorrow. Argue with us. Debate with us. Let us know what you think. Here is the question of the poll. What's the most I can't speak. What is the most problematic aspect of faith as a concept? Not faith as a religion, like this faith or that faith, but like faith as a concept. What's the most problematic aspect of it? The options are: it discourages questioning and critical thinking. It's used to justify harmful actions. It relies on belief without evidence. It creates division among people with different beliefs. Any of those choices you can make. Let me know your thoughts. Yeah, Danny's got his own set of beliefs there. If you're going to engage with him, be ready. Christian, you're going to find out it's a very interesting concept. All right, guys, I'm off to save the world. As much as I'd like to hang and we're having a good time, I got work to do, or else I'm going to be in trouble with the evil one, the wife. And we don't want that, because, you don't want that. Happy wife, happy life. All right, guys, I'm off to do the thing. Thank you to our new subscribers today, our new subscribers and our new member. We have a new member. Thank you very much. You're all wonderful. I will see you tomorrow. Stay safe. Sin safely, my friends. Take care. Thank you, and have a great day.